Hello and welcome if you are brand new. Welcome back if you've seen some of my videos. My name is Grace and since May of 2021, I have been traveling in this rig right here. It is a 2021 Toyota 4Runner Off Road Premium. It has worked out absolutely fantastic for me. So today I wanted to give you a look at my setup. We'll just start up here. This is probably the least exciting part of the build. Not much has changed up here. I will note that I keep items that I want access to quickly in my driver's side door. So these are things like my number 1 and number 2 kit if I'm going outside. This is a trowel, and I have some toilet paper and extra Ziploc baggies, a pee funnel, which I've talked about before, and my cooler cloth, which is a pee cloth. I also have a little first aid kit up here and some pepper spray. The other thing that occurs in the front seat is getting ready for bed. So I keep my glasses, contacts, and I have contact solution in my console for getting ready for bed. And that wraps up the front seat. All right, moving to the driver's side passenger door. We'll start up here with the Reflectix window covers. I'm actually a little surprised this didn't fall out as I opened the door because that's what usually happens. Which brings me to what I would do differently with these. They're homemade and I spray painted them after I cut them out, which has worked out in that they look better than if they were silver. However, the spray paint flakes off all over my doors and all over my car. And it also kind of separates here at the bottom. So I would cover these in fabric instead of spray painting them, and I would also put some suction cups through them so that I could stick them to the door and they would actually stay. All right, moving down to the lower part of the door, I keep bear spray handy. I always know where it's at. If it's right here in the door, it's easy access. And also, I keep a stuff sack for my quilt. I normally don't put it in the stuff sack unless I really want to pack everything nicely. Instead, I just put my quilt in the cotton bag during the day. All right, behind the driver's seat and in front of the build, I have 12 gallons of water. This is overkill. I have only ever used 6, and I haven't even touched these since I left home about 4 weeks ago. I also have a couple pair of shoes back here. I have these Gore-Tex Solomons, which I like but don't love. And then I have these Solomons, which I do love, but I haven't needed because I've been rocking these and haven't done any serious hiking. I also have a pair of winter boots. I just brought these out on this trip and I'm so glad I brought them. In the seat back at the driver's side, I keep a GPS. This is the Garmin 890. It's overkill for what I do out here in the 4Runner. However, I got it whenever I was driving the trailer. Now underneath my build, I have a couple things. I have this shade or mosquito cover thing for the sunroof of the 4Runner. I haven't honestly used that a single time, so it just kind of chills under there. I also have a pair of shoes, which I can't easily get out, so I'm just going to leave them in there for now. And there's another pair of shoes way back there that I keep under there. So that's my closet. Also back here, I keep my camp chair and a yoga mat. All right, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is my main storage drawer. It is 5 feet long and I have almost everything except for food in this drawer. Okay, before I give you a look inside the drawer, I wanted to talk a little bit about the system. So front to back, this is 5 feet long and it's the width of the 4Runner, which I think is 41 or 42 inches in the interior from tire well to tire well. And I have these drawers on locking drawer slides. This one has 500-pound capacity and it's worked out really well. In the 8 months that I've been in the 4Runner, I have not had a single issue with the drawer slides. And I've been exceptionally grateful about that, because if I did, I'd have to take everything apart. Now these drawers are 14 inches tall, and I get a lot of questions about that because it looks like I don't have very much room in here to sleep. I've never personally felt claustrophobic in this, and it actually does go up another 3 or 4 inches in the inside, so it's not as low as it looks. Moving to the inside of the 5-foot drawer, I have 2 false drawers on top that slide on rails. They would slide all the way to the back, except I have some tall adventure stuff. The false drawers are about 4.5 inches tall, and they've worked out really well. This one has some workout gear, so leggings, sports bras, spandex shorts, socks, bras and underwear, and a swimsuit. And in the front false drawer, I have just a bunch of miscellaneous stuff in this big container. This is all skincare. This is travel sized shampoo and conditioner. I have some ponytails back here. You can get the idea. One thing that I will note is that I keep a big container of body wash, and then I just fill up a travel size one to put in my gym bag when I want to go shower. Now when I want to get to the stuff underneath this, since they don't slide as much as they would if I didn't have tall stuff, I will usually pick one of these up and set it right on top. So what do we have in here? In the back, this is all adventure stuff and some laundry pods. I keep a bunch of stuff in the bear can in the back, so it's not just wasted space. Mainly I want to note the Garmin InReach for safety. I highly recommend having one if you're going to be out on the road, especially in the middle of nowhere. This is all of my skiing long underwear, and then I have a whole bunch of hand warmers and a cooler, another swimsuit, tent, ice axe, micro spikes, helmet, climbing gear, more climbing gear, and some other adventure stuff. This is my main closet and also the rest of my clothes. As you can see, I keep them in packing cubes. I have done it both ways. I took them out of packing cubes for a moment and I did not like it, so I put them back. I found that the packing cubes not only helped me save some space, but also kept it organized. So I have more workout stuff in this one. This is flannels and some shorts and pants. These are all of my tall socks and hiking socks. And this one is full of shirts. All right, moving to the front area. Shift these around. It's really easy to do. It does not bother me at all doing this. I keep all of my extra camera gear and lenses in this compartment. And the very front of the big drawer is full of food and spices. I make sure that all of my tall bottles are towards the front so that it doesn't get in the way of my drawers that slide. To save some space, I will take all of my food out of the boxes. So this is Kodiak cake mix that I just took out of the box and leave in the bag in here. I also have not made anything with this flaxseed or the coconut flakes, but I did open them and let the air out of it so I could have some more space. One other thing to note, we did route some spaces for dividers. We didn't need to go all the way up on this drawer, but it was the first one we did, so it was an accident. But the dividers do work out very well. They help me stay organized. And you might be asking yourself, how in the heck does she move these things? Well, for one, I haven't really needed to move them because once I packed, I pretty much left everything the way it is. But if I need to move them, I can actually, they bend and flex just a little bit, so I'm able to pull them out and flex them and they'll move out of place. It isn't easy to do with one hand, but it's not meant to be easy. It can be done though. All right, that wraps up the big drawer. Let's move to the little drawer. All right, this little guy is 32 inches long and it has my stove and all of my cooking stuff, which I will show you right now. Like the big drawer, I have a little false drawer on top. It too is 4.5 inches tall and it holds all of my snacks, which right now look a little sad. I need to do some shopping. Now, if you look in the back here, you can see there is a whole bunch of stuff, but it is all easy to move in case I need to get to the stuff in the back. So some extra Tupperware, and then we have a divider back here, which you can't really see. There it is. There's a divider right here with a bunch of stuff that I have never touched. I honestly have no idea what's back there. So it's extra, I think, bungee cords and towels and a vest. I have never used it. Oh, in the bottom section of this drawer, I have my backpacking stove and this little Talenti jar that I swear by, and I use it for mixing up everything. And more Ziploc bags and a can opener. All right, since this drawer is so little, where do I put this little false drawer? Right on top of the bed. So when I want to pick this up and get to my stove, it just goes right there. Now, in the bottom part of this drawer, I keep all of my cooking stuff. So pots and pans. This goes up here whenever I'm getting to my stove. And then I have a knife kit and a food scale. And the last thing in this drawer is my stove, which pops out just like this. It's really easy to get to, does not take me long at all, and it stores nicely. So the stove does not quite go all the way up to where my false drawer sits, so I'm able to utilize all this space right here, which is where I put that kitchen scale and this knife set and all of my pots and pans. They're really just pans. So it sits in there right like that, and then this still is low enough that my drawer slides on top. All right, time for the miscellaneous stuff. As you can see, on the driver's side, I keep my laundry tucked in between the side of the car and the side of the build. And then underneath that, I have a whole bunch of protein powder. I also have an extra canister of propane back there, and then my hats, so I know that they won't get squished. And then in front of that is the camp chair that I already showed you. And on the passenger side, I have Clorox wipes, which I use for everything. I have my Nalgene water bottles, which I always fill up at Planet Fitness, and that's why I never have to get more water. There's a lot of them. Here's the second one, and then a third. And underneath that, I have Mountain House meals in the back here, and then some laundry sprays behind the wipes. You can kind of see in the corner there is some space in this little cubby where I keep just some more wipes for my car and some extra chai. Any food that I don't want to get squished or is in boxes that don't fit in the drawers, I stick right on top, just like that. And then above the tire well on the passenger side, I have this little air pump for the mattress that does not work. I don't know why it's still in the car. And I also have this stuff sack for the mattress, my hiking backpack, and an extra sleeping pad. Before I wrap up the back of the car, I wanted to talk about my sleep setup. This is an Exped mattress. It is the Megamat Duo, and I love it. I've been using it for the past month, and it has been a game changer. Before, I was using a Thermarest X Therm that was about half the width, and it worked. I used it for 6 months, but it was pretty noisy, and it wasn't the most soft and comfortable. It didn't really feel like I was at home, whereas this gives me a home mattress feel. I have flannel sheets on it that I just got at Target. I did not buy the Exped sheets, and this has worked out just fine. Under the sheets, it looks like this. You don't really need the sheets, but I highly recommend it. And yeah, it's a little over 4 inches, I want to say. It's foam and inflatable. As for the rest of the sleep setup, I have this little pillow. I'm not much of a pillow user, so this little one does me just fine. I have this queen-sized fleecy kind of blanket. It's not very warm, but it's soft, and I like the fact that it's soft, so it gets to stick around. And now for the most important part of my sleep setup, and maybe my entire car camping setup, my sleeping quilt. This is a Katabatic Gear Flex 15. I swear by this thing. I've used it down to 6 degrees exterior temperature, which meant that it was probably 15-ish inside, which tested the limits of this sleeping quilt. I stayed comfortable and warm the entire night. So I highly recommend getting a nice sleeping bag or quilt if you intend on car camping for any extended period of time, or if you're going to be car camping in cold weather. A blanket like this will not suit you. Oh, hi, friend. There's a dog, guys. Hi, puppy. What are you doing? Hi, friend. Goodbye. All right, we're getting closer. Moving to the passenger side back door. We are almost done. Front and center, we have a small vacuum. I use this thing more often than you would think. It's great for small messes in the car. Really helps keep the car nice and tidy, which I definitely appreciate. Living in a small space, it can get messy very, very quickly. For my fridge, I have a Dometic CFX 345. So it's a 45-liter fridge. I do have it winched down, so it does not go anywhere when I'm driving. The fridge does sit right on the base of the build. So we had one 5-foot long sheet of plywood that we cut, and this is just the right side of it. We did bolt it to where the seats once were. We just used some L brackets. There's 4 of these across, and this entire platform has not moved at all, and it was a very easy thing to do. All right, it's only fair that I show you how I actually get to the food, because you're probably wondering, since the mattress is on top of it. I could put the mattress away each day, but it takes a second to blow up, and I don't want to do that. So instead, I push this mattress up, hold it with one hand, and open my fridge with the other. It's not so bad. It's not like I'm in the fridge for minutes on end, so I'm able to just grab whatever I want super quick and put the mattress right back where it was. Now, hidden behind the passenger seat and behind all this Reflectix, I have a Goal Zero Yeti 3000X. I definitely would go with the 3000X again. I was debating between getting the 1500 and the 3000, and the 3000 actually fits really well in the car, and I get a lot of peace of mind from having the extra capacity, especially because there's no solar setup up there. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I have to carry the Goal Zero into a coffee shop or set it at a park to charge at this point in time. I don't have it connected to my alternator in my vehicle, and I also don't have the solar, as I mentioned, so it's the best option at this moment. However, I can, in case of emergency, charge the Goal Zero by idling my vehicle. I just don't like to do that for extended periods of time. One thing that I will show you, I do have my refrigerator and my Goal Zero locked up in my vehicle, so it does give me some peace of mind knowing that if somebody breaks in, these 2 big high-dollar items will be harder to grab. I also have a trash can attached to the backside of my passenger seat. However, I tend to use a Walmart bag that I just set right here, and that holds all of my trash. All right, last door. Behind this door, we have my work bag. I have my hat and buff and a jacket and usually a water bottle. And that's pretty much it. I almost forgot to show you this. I do keep in my passenger door some gloves, a couple headlamps, and hand warmers, and an extra lock. This was a fairly high level look at my setup and build, so if you have additional questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.